Hello everyone, I'm here with Pascal Vieren. We had a little bit of an issue at the beginning with audio, so I hope it's gonna work. Basically what happened was that I posted on Twitter that I'm looking for people to interview, and Pascal replied with, I don't really even know what it means, but in like 3 seconds that he would like to be in an interview basically, or maybe it doesn't mean that, and I don't know. But anyway, here we are for a little bit of an introduction. Pascal is from Belgium, I think, right?
That's right.
And he has won a Pro Tour top 8 in Bilbao in Modern and 5 GP top 8s. Let's talk about that later. I started doing that in the last interview with Madness, that at the beginning we're not really gonna focus on Magic, and we're just gonna talk about something else so that people can maybe get to know you a little bit better. I've asked you on Facebook before we started. You mentioned as one of your hobbies, you mentioned rugby. Well, first of all, you don't really strike me as a person to play rugby, so I was really surprised. But I don't really know anyone else who does that. So if you can maybe talk about it a little bit, that would be great.
No, I'm just wondering why I don't strike you as someone who plays rugby. No, like rugby is a great sport.
You're like super tall, and I thought that like rugby players need to be like, you know, a little bit smaller so that they can do like, but I don't know.
That's like, and in rugby you really needs like all the different sizes. You need the small speedy guys like on the outsides. Also need the really like the almost small fat guys, really muscly, play up front, and then you also need some tall guys. Like, I don't know if you know anything about rugby.
Well, I played it like 2 times in my life, but I don't know anything.
Yeah, you have like a moment in the game where they throw in the ball from the side, and like one has to jump real high, and they push him up. But that's all. That's always someone tall. They have like 2 tall players at least in each team. Like I think rugby is like cool sport because like every body type can play it. Like they need everything. So. And it's also fun. It's really like entertaining to do. Have a lot of contact.
Are you doing it for a long time, or is it like a recent thing?
Well, I did it a while back, like 7 years ago. I always liked the sport, and I did it then. My eldest son like was really into it, and he found it really cool. And like when he was 5, he started playing. But then I was already stopped playing. But then with the lockdown and like Magic tournament stopping, I figured like why not try to play again? So I play again starting this year.
I see.
But
are you good?
I'm not. Like I'm really. I never did it.
Are you better than at Magic?
No, definitely not. No, like I never did it as a kid, and it's like for tackling and like stuff you really need technique. Mm-hmm. And if I try to tackle someone, basically I just hurt myself, but that's okay. And also I need to work out a bit, so it's a good way to work out.
I see. Another thing that you mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I thought you were. Another thing that you mentioned was that you have 4 kids with a 5th one coming up. And it actually helps you in like tournaments because you're just like used to being tired. So in later rounds, it's just like normal for you. Having 5 kids is a lot of kids. Like, are they like? Did you just want to have like infinite kids, or like I don't know what happened there? I don't really know that like people who had that many kids. It's kind of, you know, it's not usual.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. Like nowadays. Well, many people have a lot of kids, but like I had the first one when I was pretty young. I was 23 then, so that's kind of early. Like me and my wife just wanted to have it early. Yeah, kind of, and so we both wanted it, so not. And we didn't want. I never wanted one kid. I wanted more than one. As like one kid's, the idea is scary because like I want my kids to be able to play with each other. Mm-hmm. I always thought being an only child would seem like lonely. I have an amazing bond with my brother, so think I want that for my kids as well. And my wife didn't want 2, so we went for 3. And like we had 3, and they are now 9, 6, and 5. I should know this better probably, but like the youngest is almost a year now. But then like we thought 3 is fine, let's stop it. After a couple of years, we figured maybe we want 1 more. But then we didn't want the last one to be like only child with 5 years behind the other one, so we made another one.
Oh wow!
That one is coming. But he has a friend as well.
How do you like handle all of that? That just seems crazy to have. Like I cannot even imagine what. It's just like a full-time job basically, just to like take care of them, right? Or maybe like the first ones are older now, so you don't have to take care about them, but still.
Yeah, so you still have to take care of them.
Oh.
No, but I think like if you really want kids and like do it, but if you don't want it, don't do it. And like the first one, your life is totally different. And imagine if you have no kids. The first one is a different life. And then the second one makes it even more like I have kids now. I can't really do stuff anymore. Like you can't go out just because you feel like it. You have to arrange things and like. But after that, like the third one or no, the fourth one, it's basically the same. Like your life is already like settled in that way, and I think I'm lucky. Like my wife is great with kids, and she's like well organized to make them sleep at night and stuff like that. So like I feel like I still have a life outside kids, having kids as well. But I love my kids and I love spending time with them as well. Good balance for me. I think it's like a personal thing, and if you don't feel like having kids, you shouldn't do it. But for me or for us, it felt right to do it. We went that way, and I'm happy with it.
Well, it's kind of hard to know before you have them, right? A lot of people think that they want them, and then they realize that they didn't. But
yeah. Like if someone says, like, we're gonna have a kid and we're ready for it, I just thought you're not ready for it. You have no idea what's gonna happen. But like, just if you want a kid in advance, it's probably better than like people who think we're together for 3 years, now we have to get married, and after we got married we have to get kids, because that's like what everyone does, and that's like I think the wrong reason to have kids.
Yeah, of course.
If you want to have kids, right?
So you mentioned that you have like a really good relationship with your brother Peter, who's also a really good Magic player, and that's why you didn't want to have just one kid. Do you have like any other siblings besides Peter? Because I obviously know him because he's a Magic player, but maybe you have more.
Yes, my only sibling.
Okay, so it's just him. Before we get into Magic more, I wanna ask you honest opinion about who you think is better, you or your brother.
Me.
All right, I didn't expect that answer at all.
What? No, he doesn't play a lot anymore.
Well, I don't mean like right now per se, but just like overall. Like, let's say that you stop in like, I don't know, maybe in like 2 years or whatever, but then you're like 50 and you like look back at the times when you played Magic. Are you still going to think that you were better, or?
Yeah.
All right. I wonder what he would say, but he's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy, so maybe he wouldn't be as cocky, but.
Is that cocky? I think it's more honest, but I think like he's a great player as well, and we both have flows to our game. But like he was gold a couple of years. Like we both like had a period where we tried our best to like be as good as we can be. I got a little further, so yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. You basically from what you've told me, you've been something. Well, it wasn't silver back then, I assume, but equivalent to. Oh, it was silver back then as well. Well, anyway, you were silver during like in 2009 to 2011 period. Then you kind of stopped, but your brother became a Belgium national champion, which meant that he was queued for the VMC, and you attended one of the VMCQs and you won. And then you actually ended up losing in finals of that tournament. Can you just like talk about that time? Like, did you just go to the VMCQ and just like hope to get lucky, and if nothing happens, you wouldn't play anymore? But like things just escalated, or like what happened there?
Like for the WMCQ, I tried really hard. because Peter was going to be captain, and like I hadn't played a Pro Tour in 5 years, and by that time, like I played 1 or 2 GPs every year, like that without bias, just show up and play a bit. But like I felt an urge like to maybe prove I was still good enough to like play one Pro Tour once more, and like the WMC seemed like a cool way to get there, or like for me, it felt like a Pro Tour back then. So together with a bunch of friends, we like spent weeks testing standard. I was really well prepared, and I had good matchups like prepared, and I had planned what I was going to do in the first tournament.
What did you play? Like, what was the format?
It was standard back when I think the best deck then was green-white tokens with 3 mana Nissa and Gideon.
Yeah.
I played the black-white like mid-range deck.
Yeah, with like Avacyn and stuff.
Yeah, like Avacyn, also Gideon, Turin, 6 mana Planeswalker.
Oh, sorry.
In it as well. Yeah. And there also was a white weenie deck in the format, and basically that's all I remember.
There was like Bank Company in the format as well, wasn't it? Because Steve Rubin.
No, it was.
No.
I think it was before Company was printed.
No, I'm pretty sure that like when Steve Rubin won with green-white tokens, which was the first time that the deck was used, he played against Bond Company in the finals against Andrea Mengucci.
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
well, maybe
we
really discovered it in Bloodmyth. Yeah, I don't really remember. Well, I don't remember the deck existing at the time, but like Company is so strong that if it existed, probably it's.
So you went
yeah,
to,
I got lucky in the tournament.
The VMCQ and you won basically, right?
Yeah.
And
then I was qualified for the WNC, and we were second place in Rotterdam in 2016. Like the last WMC in Belgium was won by Branko. You know Branko?
Yeah, I know Branko. Yeah.
The sound is gone.
We actually were in the same team for a couple of Pro Tours, so I know him well. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like, he's a good friend, so that was really cool to be able to play the WMC with Branko and Petr.
So you ended up being second. Like at that point, was that the reason why you like started trying so hard? Because there was a period of time where you basically top 8'd like 4 GPs in a row. I think all of them were limited. Maybe not all of them, but I think most of them were limited at least. That's like insane, right? Like at that point, people were talking about you being the best player in the world or whatever because you just like crushed so many tournaments in a row. Like were you just playing Infinite or like how did that happen?
Yeah, at that time I was playing Infinite. Well, not really. Like I have a regular job and I have kids. Like my idea of what Infinite playing is probably like less than what other people think Infinite is. But I think I like 4 GPs were all limited. And I think I approached sealed better way than most do. Like I felt I had an enormous edge in sealed, especially. And yeah, have to get lucky to get 4 GP top 8s in a row as well, but I felt I prepared really well.
I mean, of course you need to get lucky, right? But you probably played really well. Like, can you maybe share like, I think you even like wrote like a huge article about sealed, but maybe for people who didn't read it, can you like maybe talk about some things that you maybe do differently in sealed compared to other people that gives you an edge?
Yeah, I think like probably the biggest difference is like I actually practice sealed a lot. For GP, like most people just think sealed, yeah, just show up, hope you have a good pool, like have some nice bomb rares, some cards in the same colors, and make a deck and hope like get day 2. That's like how most people approach day 1 of a GP, hope to open a good deck and get day 2, and then like getting day 2 is a reward in and by itself. Just like try to actually practice the sealed format, like build lots of decks by playing a lot. Like think about how the format shapes out, like what's important in a sealed deck. Is it like a slow format? Is it relevant to like play 2-drops? Are most like 3 colors, 4 colors? Or is it more like important to play stuff every turn?
Mhm.
You have a bad pool, what's the best way to approach like something like mediocre pool or bad pool? Like what can work even with to other people would say bad cards or mediocre stuff. I think I'll like think more about sideboarding than most, I guess. Like how to build your deck against what your opponent is playing. Like many people will just like sideboard 1, 2 cards or no cards. Or they switch their entire deck, like you know the I make a backup deck, I sideboard and I switch to. Then they don't like actually build a second deck to beat your opponent. You're board into an aggro deck if you have a control deck. You don't switch cards in your aggro deck as well to make it better against your opponent. I think Sealed has by far the largest sideboard in any format. They have like limitless options of what you're gonna bring in. I've brought in like I build a deck that's 19 lands and 7-drops basically, or 7-drops and higher, because I thought that would give me a good matchup against my opponent, and it did because games were very slow. He didn't do anything in the early turn, so I just played 7-drops, even though my pool was mediocre. And I don't think many people will go as far as that.
Yeah, like I think that a lot of people are often even like lazy. You know, you don't have your sideboard sleeved up, and you know you cannot spend infinite time doing that. So a lot of people are like, whatever. It's not really gonna matter that much, and they just don't do that. So
Yeah, basically I sleeve my sideboard. So that's for starters. Like I have sets of lands of every color in my sideboard sleeved just to make stuff go faster and be prepared to do whatever I think needs to be done to win the match.
that's interesting. So besides that, you have a Pro Tour top 8, but that is in Modern. Well, I guess if you play top 8, you have to play Constructed, right? It's not like you can play a limited Pro Tour. But did you like 6-0 limited there as well, or was your deck just insane? For people who don't know, you play blue-red Pyromancer, or like I don't know how else to call it. It was like a blue-red deck with a lot of cantrips, lightning bolts, and basically Young Pyromancer thing in the ice and Snapcaster Mage. First of all, I wanna know if it was just like maybe you 6-0 limited and then you like got kind of lucky, or if the deck was like really good.
Yeah, I 6-out limited.
Oh, you did? Okay. I actually didn't know that. Actually,
but I went 6-0-4 in constructed, so like I had 2 draws there, 1 in constructed and 2 IDs end of the tournament, so it wasn't like my constructed record was mediocre or bad. But the deck was like I can play constructed, but it's not my favorite thing to do. And Peter was also qualified for that Pro Tour, so like he built the deck and he tested it a lot, and I just like played it in a couple of Magic Online leagues. Like I liked how the deck played out, and he tuned it and worked really hard on it. I kind of just leached on his deck building skill and his testing. But I think the deck was good, but it's like I was looking at the list like long ago. It's so different from what a modern deck looks like nowadays. It's so power level is crazy, and like 3 years difference.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to interrupt. Even during that time, no one was really playing that deck, right? Like when I saw it, I was like kind of surprised that you played it, and it like seemed pretty good. Was it just because Peter just always loves blue red and he like tried really hard to make it work, or did you think that it was like actually good and people didn't know about it?
Yeah, I think Peter like always plays blue red, so
yeah,
it definitely helps like having an understanding of how you want a deck to be and to play out. It was a blue deck at the time in modern. It looked a bit like the one Peter and I played, except played Blood Moon and like stuff like Kiki Jiki and Mastermind as a win condition. And like the spells were the same basically, but Blood Moon was pretty mediocre. You know, like modern back then we didn't really like it, and the Mastermind Kiki Jiki combo, or like what was the other one with the
even like
the artifact Angel? No.
Birding Pod?
The artifact, Platinum Empyrean, like
Oh, yeah.
one use
Yeah.
the spell that lets you flip cards until you hit an artifact, but
Mm-hmm.
then with Platinum Empyrean you don't take damage.
Yeah.
Those like are the win conditions in the same deck, but those felt really clunky, and like just having Young Pyromancer was often good, like with all the spells, and helped your game plan, like slowing down aggressive decks. Then Peter Fountain in the edge, which was actually pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and from there and like tuned the deck more. Like I said, it helped that Peter always plays blue-red because he has an understanding of how the deck should play out or should be shaped.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like anything that special, but you just had a really good version and you had really good plans, so it was just fine. It wasn't, yeah, I see.
Basically, it wasn't breaking the format, but it was a really good choice and unexpected. Like the win conditions were unexpected. So in the beginning, you asked me if Peter was a better player. I think Peter is by far the better deck builder. I think I'm the better player, but he's way better in building decks.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Just because he plays more constructed, or just like natural talent, or you just don't know? It just how it is?
I think he plays really. He doesn't play a lot. Like if he thinks he has a cool idea for a deck of like a deck he likes, he's gonna build it and he's gonna play a lot and tune it. But he doesn't play a lot outside, like especially the last years. Like definitely not. But I think it's natural. Like I can't really build decks and explain it. Peter is good at it, and I'm not. I can steal his ideas, so there's that.
So on back of these results, you actually became platinum, but you kind of chose the wrong time to become platinum because during that time MPL came, and of course if you had those results like year later, you would be in, but that's not how it worked out. How did that influence like you in Magic? Because obviously the pro levels are gone, so it didn't really matter that you did that well. Are you like still playing a lot, maybe trying to get into MPL, or were you just like disgusted by how things worked and you are maybe not playing as much? Like what's going on with you right now?
Oh, actually I was too late with my results. Like,
you were yeah.
I think like the time, the rankings they used to make MPL, I was like 40th or something on those rankings. Like for the year after that, I would definitely have been 15, but do anything. Like at the beginning, MPL was invented. I was like optimistic and hoping to get in. I still got the appearance fee for Platinum that year, so that was pretty nice. But by the time it became clear what you had to do to become MPL, no one knows. That really like lost a bit of motivation there. And nowadays, I still like I was qualified for the regional PT. That was my last free invite I got, and I was top 16 there. So I played the PT finals, and there I was 20th, but that didn't do anything. You had to be top 16, and I missed the last PT. But I play Arena. I play a lot of Magic still. I played qualifiers every month, but I find it's hard for me to like really concentrate when playing Arena. Like I just click buttons and like it's not the same like playing Paper Magic for me. I don't get the same level of concentration, not the same preparation either. So, like I guess I'll be playing the qualifiers. I hit Mythic every month, so I can play them for free. And I guess I'll get lucky one day or test enough, or if they start doing limited ones, which they will starting next month, I think my chances go up as well. So I guess I'll randomly qualify for Pro Tour again, and then I'll test again and see what happens from there. Or like if GPs are back, I'll definitely play Paper GPs.
I think the situation is probably going to change just because now we have Corona. So like, what you're gonna do? But so you think that if things go back to what it used to be, maybe not completely the same, but like kind of the same, you will like still try it maybe the same way you did before.
Yeah. I still feel motivated to do that.
Is there like any specific goal that you like want to achieve that maybe if you achieve it, you're like, all right, I'm done with this, and you like stop, or like you just like wanna try your best, but you don't really care about anything specific?
I think that's like last time I started again, so to speak. I just want to play one PT and play it completely. This time, I don't think it's realistic to say I want to hit rivals or MPL, because the way it's shaped up now, you have to qualify for PT and then top four of people who aren't in the MPL or rivals, I think. Then you can play an additional tournament together, and which like you have to spike a tournament and then spike the other one, the qualifier as well. And I don't think it's really like a realistic goal. It's not something you can say on. I'm gonna build up my career, or I'm gonna expand time playing extra GPs. It's not the same as it was with pro points. There you could like say really motivated because I have so many points locked up. If I just try hard and test for this and this GP, maybe I can get to gold or platinum. That's like much more achievable and more something you can build along the way. And now you have to hope to spike 2 tournaments in a row, and that's just not a long-term plan you can try for, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, probably.
Thanks for your time, Pascal. I think I've asked everything I wanted to ask.
Thank you.
If you guys like the video, please click on the like and subscribe button, and bye-bye.
Bye.